Nigeria M35 community, where we'll talk about everything Office 365, enterprise mobility, and Windows 365. So today we continue from where we stopped. Basically, this is me. I'm a digital transformation professional, experienced in infrastructure, cloud services, productivity applications, and today we just jump straight into our session. Before we do that, so our housekeeping room that remains the same. So the sessions will be recorded and it will be available for future viewing. And if you're not talking, please kindly mute your mic. Then if you have any questions, please pen your questions down until the Q&A session, and it will be well attended to. And we have a YouTube channel where we have all our recordings saved. Then we have a Twitter page. You can follow us. Then we do for value your feedback. Please, if you have any feedback for us, kindly feel free to let us know. So today we'll continue with our session. So our speaker remains the same. He has been here with us for the past 2 weeks. Timmy is an experienced IT professional and a catalyst for transformation in organization, driving productivity, security, and innovations. So through his comprehensive knowledge of cloud services and Microsoft technology. So Timmy, glad to have you today. Thank you very much for actually joining us again today.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
I trust you're doing good.
very well, very well. Thank you. You have the floor, so we can jump into the session.
Okay, thank you so much, Emmanuel. So, yeah, please you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yeah. So, I will continue. I think last time we spoke we discussed about live event and audio conferencing. But because of our time, we just had to quickly, we thought we'd be able to finish the last time. So we had to rush through the audio conferencing. So I would just want us to go back to audio conferencing. So basically, yeah, I will continue. So, as discussed last time, audio conferencing basically is the ability gives ability for people to dial in to meetings using your mobile phone to dial in to join a meeting. So we discussed much more about the benefits of audio conferencing last week, but now I want us to go straight to the demo. And yes, so as you all know, like audio conferencing basically means dialing to a meeting using a mobile number. So how can we get the mobile number? And I'm going to demonstrate how we can get the mobile number, how to set up a bridge, and also go deep into a few details about audio conferencing. So for you to be able to have audio conferencing feature, that means a dialing number when you schedule a Teams meeting. You need to be you need to have Microsoft 365 E5 license, or you have a a license with Teams with add-on of Microsoft audio conferencing license. So basically, this is how we schedule a meeting. If we are to schedule a meeting, we're supposed to have a dialing details. So this is the dialing detail. So I can call in, join this meeting I scheduled with this number and dialing. However, you can get this number for various locations that you are. However, we have some countries that you cannot get a dialing number for. So using the find local number, if you are not in this tenant is United States, and the dialing meeting details is United States. So you can, if you get the invite, you can use the find local number to find a local number within your location to join the event. So I just copied the link now. I'm trying to get a local number. So these are the number. This same meeting, you can dial any of these numbers. You can dial any of this number, and if you input this conference ID, you'll still be able to join the event and with the code. So that is that with that. And in Conference Bridge, the list of numbers you can have to dial into a meeting. So we have a toll number and a toll-free number. So by default, you should have a list of toll number. Toll basically means the end user calling in would be charged for joining the meeting, whereby the toll-free number is the organization scheduling the meeting, they will incur the charges for people dialing into the meeting. So that is the difference between the toll free and the toll number. So for us to get number for conference bridges, to get a number, you need a service number. So basically, to get maybe a dedicated number. So we have two type of numbers. We have a shared number and dedicated number. So under the dedicated number, we have two types. You can also get the toll and the toll-free number. So if you want to get a dedicated toll-free toll number, we need to come to the M365 Admin Center, where you just click in Add. Center phone numbers, add a phone number. So you select the location. So ideally, we're supposed to use Nigeria as our location. However, Nigeria numbers are not readily available. So you may have to reach out to the PTN. So let's do, for instance, this is one. Let's show us the demo. We are trying to get a Nigeria number. So it's not readily available. So you need to raise a request to PSPN service desk. That is the number porting team. So the number porting team will reach out to Nigeria, their partner in Nigeria, to get a number for the tenant. So, however, any service number you get can only be used for conference bridge. So you cannot get a number for auto attendance or call queue using the TAC. So I think that will be discussed in other class. So our major focus is the toll number for conference bridge. So, but we cannot get a number for this now. So let's just use another location. is the number. This number is available. I'll go on to acquire this. Is to have a dedicated number for a user instead of using a shared number. Okay, a shared number is shared between, shared with a lot of organizations. A dedicated number is only for your organization. So I'm going to add the number, add the number to conference bridge. So this is the number we just acquired. I click on apply. So this is the number. It's showing dedicated. Unlike others, can you see this is only dedicated number? So let us make it as a default conference bridge. So making it default be the default dialing number for the all users in the organization. Okay. So if unless there is a separate there is a separate user number assigned to the end user. So I will go to my user account. So I can into the dedicated. I can change my dedicated conference bridge. So any meeting I schedule should have this as my default dialing number. However, this takes time sometimes to provision. So it takes up to sometimes 24 hours for this update to provision. But let us give it a try. Okay. You see, so we have a new dialing number basically. So you can try. You can, if you want to have different dedicated number, you can give it to the user. So the other thing I want to talk about on this conference bridge is about bridge settings. So in bridge settings, you can set up how you want it to work. So if not because there is none, I'm not able to get a Nigeria license. I would have loved to show us. I actually raised request with the PTN team to get a Nigeria number. I would have loved us to make. I would have loved it. We can make a test, and we are going to see how it's going to work. But for some, they are yet to give me the number. I would have tested it and see how actually it works. So when you dial in the number, the experience is you're going to have like audio after inputting the meeting details. You're going to maybe have an audio based on the configuration here. If I ask you to, if I set it to name and phone number, so when you get to the meeting, when you try to dial in the meeting, the IVR is going to ask you to provide your name. So let's say my name is Timileyin. So when I join the meeting, I'm going to hear what is your name. So as soon as you join the meeting, the IVR is going to announce to everyone in the meeting that Timileyin has joined the meeting. So, and this is based on the settings I have here. And this is organization-wide settings. It's not a user settings. So anything I set here is going to affect the whole organization. And also the pin length, I can set up the pin length for the meeting. So what is the pin length I want for the meeting? I can also set it here. And also I can decide to turn off the meeting entry notification announcement. I can decide to turn it off. If I turn it off, I'm not going to have the option for the announcement when people try to join the meeting. And also I can decide to turn on this email. So if I have this turned on, for every user that joined the meeting, there is going to be a notification that uh, for for every time you change a dialing number, the user will get an email that the dialing number changed. So this is the feature that controls this. And this is actually very, very, very important, right? For users that join the meeting using their desktop app, they will, just like this meeting, you can see every other person that joined the meeting, right? So if you dial in using a mobile number, there will still be an option. They will still be able to see the phone number of people that joined the meeting. However, we can, as an organization, just to protect end users joining the meeting, to protect their personal information. The phone number is a personal information for a public meeting. You can decide to turn off their phone number so people max their phone number and they cannot see the phone number of people join the meeting. And you can set it to be from participants, max the number for participants outside the organization, and you can turn it for every participant except the organization based on your organization preference or based on your preference. So you can set that up. So that will be all for conferencing, audio conferencing. So then we'll go straight to the topic, the next topic that we are to work on today, which is to room, configure and manage Microsoft Teams devices. Okay, so before we proceed, I would like to know if we have any question before we go into this fully.
Guys, if you have questions, feel free to unmute your mic or raise up your hand, then I'll call you on audio conferencing for everything we've discussed so far. If you don't have any question, you can just use the arts reaction, so we'll know that you can move. Just react to the arts. All right, so we can proceed.
Okay, thank you so much. So the next topic, we are going to talk about Teams Room development and how to create Teams resource accounts and how to manage devices. So when setting up, it's basically Teams Room is actually a room like a room where we can have teams meeting, and it's just like the local boardrooms, conference room in offices. So that is how you set up your teams room basically. So I just want us to have like a picture, like how you want to set up your boardroom, how do you want it to be like. This is actually when setting up Teams Room is very, very important to consider your setup as if you want people to come in to your meeting. So the concept is in a situation whereby you have like a board meeting and you have some persons that need to join the event virtually. You want them to be able to see everyone in the meeting. You want this the lighting to be okay. You want the voice, the stand to be okay for everybody to see. So that is why it is very, very, very important to configure your Teams rooms very well. So what are the things you need to consider when setting up your Teams room? You need to consider the kind of furniture you want to use because people will be um, people that will be in the meeting. You need them to be that need to be on site for the meeting. You need them to be comfortable. So you need to consider the type of furniture you want to use, how you want the room, the wall, the coloring. You need to consider that also. And this is like the picture here, the typical example of a team's room, how it looks like. And this is as you can see the screen here, you'll be able to see other people joining also, and they themselves they'll be able to see the people seated. So you need to consider people joining and people joining using Teams meeting and people in house. You need to consider all people involved. How the lighting of the room, is it going to be okay? The design, how do you want them to view the event? The presentation of your boardroom, all these things you need to be considered. The capacity of the room, how big do you want your room to be? So we have some boardrooms that can take up to 100 persons, and so all these things you need to consider them. You need to consider how to run your cable, your microphone, your cam. You need to consider the display. So the display is what the users on site what they are going to see, how big your display is going to be. So all these things need to be considered when setting up your room. So and also when considering your room, your meeting space, you need to consider the goal of this room. What are we going to use it for? Is it like executive board meeting? In this executive board meeting, how many people do we have in our executive? Just like let's just say five. When you have five people, you just need to set up a room just only for five people. You don't need to set up the room to accommodate 100 persons, because setting up a room that you just need only 5 persons and you are deploying a system that can accommodate like 100, that means you are going to spend a lot of money setting up that room. So also in that room, do you want to have a whiteboard? So let's say the person presenting on site, they need to work on a whiteboard. You need to consider that also. Am I going to have the whiteboard? And also other things you can consider. Do you want to the audio and video peripherals like your cam? Are you going to get external cam, or do you just want to project using a desktop? A desktop. Um, so And also going down, we discussed about Teams devices and Teams room that you can consider. So you can also consider using projector connecting to external devices. Okay. So how to configure Microsoft 365 account for Teams room. So Microsoft, unlike most others most other meeting resource provider, Microsoft have a way created a feature whereby you don't necessarily need to disturb about yourself about your resource, your conference rooms, right? Like maybe end user trying to schedule their accounts, using their personal accounts to maybe taking their own personal laptop to a room for them to have a meeting in the room. So Microsoft come about the idea of what we call Microsoft 365 resource accounts for rooms. This is how it works. This account, a resource account, you create the account, and this account, you configure it for your conference room. Let's say I have 5 conference rooms, right? I can create 5 accounts only for 5 resource accounts only for conference room. And what these accounts, you can use this account for, you can use it to schedule meeting. And as an end user, I can also book a resource before the meeting time. So what is the implication of this, right? Let's say now in some offices, right, you see them like maybe they want to have a meeting, a team wants to have a meeting, they will have intention of using a conference room. On getting to that conference room, you will see another set of people already using that conference room. But with resource accounts, you can book a room ahead before the meeting date. So you don't need to stretch yourself like maybe trying to maybe fight over a room. Oh, I'm supposed to use this room now. I need to use this room now. But with this feature, whereby with this resource account, you can book a room before the time of your meeting. So we are going to go into a demo to see what we can do in a resource. And before we go much more into the Teams room licensing. So for us to create a Teams room account, this can be done from the M365 admin center. Please just a minute. The M365 admin center, we need to come to resources. Then you come to rooms and equipment. So under rooms and equipment, you can create a room, or if it's an equipment you want to create, maybe just strictly for an equipment instead of using a room. You can give it a room. Give it an email address. Configuration. You can decide to send. You can decide to set the capacity. Let's say the room. I think earlier I discussed about the goal of the room. Why you want to create the room? How many persons do you want in the room? So after considering all this, when you want to set up your resource account, you put this. Okay, how many persons do I want in the room? Let's say we want 10 persons. You add 10. The location of the room. Let's say the room, we have organization that they have that are in different locations. So when setting this up, this also you need to consider the location. When setting up, let's say the location is Abuja, you put Abuja. So if you want to give a phone number, like maybe you have a desk phone in the room, you can input the phone number. Then you save the room resource. Okay, while we wait for that, then the next feature is editing the room. How do you want the room calendar to be processed? So basically, the resource um, function as a calendar whereby for every meeting you schedule, there is a calendar for each people, any other person, based on your organization configuration. If people want to make use of the room, if the room is not available, they are not going to, it's going to show whenever you want to book the room. So, and you can set up the booking option how you want people to use this calendar, right? If you want people to have meeting like a reoccurring meeting, you will allow this. So if you don't want a reoccurring meeting in a room, you uncheck this. You can set up allow scheduling only during working hours. You can set up a working hour whereby this is the only time you want this room to be booked. And you can turn off the feature. So scheduling meeting ahead. You can set up when users like the booking windows, like you can book a meeting, let's say in the next 180 days. You can set it up. Maybe if it's 30 days, you can set up the windows maybe to be 30 days. And booking duration, you can set it up the duration of the booking. Maybe it's 24 hours, within 6 hours, within 24 hours. You can set it up. And also, this is a very important feature, auto accepting meeting requests. Most people, most organizations allow auto accept if the meeting room is free. So let's say now I have the meeting room is free, and I book this room that I want to use this room. If auto accept is available, automatically this room I will have it for myself to use at the time of my meeting. However, in a room whereby you have maybe senior board members, you want them, that is where they have their meetings. I won't advise you to turn this on because senior board member, they will likely have to have emergency meetings and the likes, and this is the room they make use of, right? So in that instance, that kind of room and that kind of room, you don't need to. It's not advisable to auto accept, because most times their calendar, they don't want to use your calendar, and the meeting they have scheduled already for their meeting. So in such scenario, is recommended we have like a delegate that accepts or approves a meeting. So let's say now I can assign myself as a delegate. So the role of the delegate of this room here is to accept a meeting. So let's say you schedule a meeting for 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. When the request come in, I'll get a notification in my email that this person scheduled a meeting. After reviewing, after reviewing the organization calendar, okay, this room 3 to 5 is the room available 3 to 5. I think one of our board member they will have meeting by 4 p.m. in this room. I don't think it's advisable for me to. I don't think this is possible. The person that wants to use this room 3 to 5 is not possible for them. So what I would do, then I can decline the meeting. But if the room is available at a particular time, I can accept it if the room is available. So that is this what this feature is all about, to control when user can use or when they cannot use it. Unlike auto accept, so far the room is free. Auto accept is going to accept the room. Also, we can also use PowerShell to create uh, the room, just like we use the GUI to create the room. We can also use PowerShell to create the room. But because of our time, we will likely not be using PowerShell to create the room, but we are going to use it creating. Uh, we are going to use it when creating a room list. Let's do that as a demo. I think we have 20 more minutes. Okay. So to create a room, resource, we need to connect to Exchange Online PowerShell, and the PowerShell to use is um, open PowerShell as an admin using the connect to Exchange Online module. So I'm connected earlier. I was trying to run a demo. The demo, I want to have the lab ready, but it seems the provisioning is allowing it to take time. So what we need to do basically connect to Exchange. Then we can use the new Mabus commandlet to create the room. The name. I can decide to give it an alias. The commandlet that makes this you can use this new mailbox to create a mailbox, but this is a commandlet that makes it a room. You need to add room at the back to make it to differentiate it from a normal mailbox. Okay, true. To enable the mail account. Yeah. Mailbox password. Okay. Just a minute. I missed something. Mm-hmm. A minute. Okay, there was white space. So there was white space earlier. Sorry. So this is the new one created. So if we come here, can you see? So we have it. We have it here. So for us to be able to change to set the calendar processing rule, just like what we did earlier, we need to use the set calendar processing. We use the commandlet, and to assign license, we have to use the set MSO user license. So we need to connect to the MSO PowerShell for us to be able to use PowerShell to assign license to the account. So the next thing for us to be able to use this room in Teams, we have to create room list. So the room, is a room list that we made is a room list that give us access to schedule a room in Teams. So I don't know whether I tried it earlier, but let us check if this has provision. I create room list earlier. Yeah, it's not showing. For some time now, it's taking time for the room list to provision. However, so to create a room list, we use the Exchange PowerShell also, and the first thing we need to do to create the room list is we use the new distribution group commandlet, the new distribution group commandlet to create a room list. To add user to just a minute. To the room list, you use use the add distribution group member commandlet to add the room mailbox. The we use the add distribution group member to add a room to the room list. So we use the add distribution group member to add a room to a room list. Oh, no. Okay, just a minute. Oh, sorry. Okay, cool. So now when we use the get distribution group, sorry. So it says of all the room lists that we have. So I created 3 already. And, sorry, please. Okay, cool. So getting the distribution list group. So we can see all the room lists we created. So I created this earlier. Yeah, so this is the other one I create, conference room 3. This is the last one I created. So I have other ones created before. So that is basically how to create a room list. So apart from using Teams, we can also use this room list in Outlook. So let's say you can book a room. It's not necessary before you book a room. It's not necessary you use a Teams meeting. It's not necessary for it to be a Teams meeting before you can use a room. You can book your normal meeting alone without making it a Teams meeting. So you can just come here, create an event, location, but it seems the room is not yet showing yet. So ideally, you can just search for M365, but these are not my rooms. Yeah, these are not my rooms. So these are other rooms created by other persons. So ideally,
Hi,
you
Timmy,
just
are
need
you
to come
talking?
here.
Because I can hear you.
I can others hear me? Hello, can anyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, Emmanuel, can you
Hi,
hear me
Timmy, are
now?
you talking? Because I can hear you.
It seems you're the only one that can hear me. Hi, Emmanuel. Joseph, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. It seems it's only you. Emmanuel. No. Let me continue. So basically, we just need to search for the room, but it seems it's taking time for this room to provision. So basically, that is the how to create a room resource, and yeah. So now let's go to licensing. So we have, I think we have, I think the licensing has changed already. I think the naming basically. So just I think the naming of some of the licenses is no longer the same. You need to come to the M365 admin center. You go to purchase services, depending on the the admin center. Some admin center you are going to see marketplace. So you just have to go to marketplace. So we are going to search for room. So these are the types of licenses we have. L is just only the room and the basic and the standard and the premium. But now we now have Microsoft Teams Room Basic without audio conferencing, the Microsoft Teams Room Pro. So this has audio conferencing. It has a premium feature and sorry, the Teams Pro. I think this gives you support apart from but without audio conferencing. This gives you support. It gives you endpoint. That is endpoint security. That is in tune, and it gives you the premium features, unlike the basic. So the basic doesn't have the premium feature. It's only give you the Teams room experience, how you can schedule a room. Doesn't have the premium feature, and also it doesn't give you endpoint. Doesn't give you the endpoint, but the Pro gives you the endpoint. Yeah, I think I don't have some licenses actually, but there is also Teams room. The Teams room premium ideally gives you the premium feature, the audio conferencing, and the Teams Room Pro give you the audio conferencing, and it gives you all the premium feature, and it gives you support. That is a dedicated support for your room issues. Let's say your room devices issues. So that is what you can get with the room devices. However, this particular class, we cannot do a lot of demos on this particular topic because there is no device to use for the demo. So we just strictly are going to be like we are going to only stick to only the theoretical part. We are not going to deep dive into hands-on for this because there is no device to use. So we have Teams room devices. We have certified Teams room devices that are certified by Microsoft to use. So, but I'm not going to mention name. So that means I'm actually selling a product, right? But I'm not going to mention name. However, I'm going to share a link on the chat, and I think this will also be added to the on our channel. The link will also be there for Microsoft certified room devices and audio devices, right? So I'm going to share a link in chat so you can go back to reference the room, reference if you want to learn more about the devices, we can go back to learn more about all these devices. So Microsoft has some certified devices that you can use for your Teams room for premium experience and for full experience. And this room, there is support, the certified room devices, there is support from them from Microsoft should you have any issue. Unlike other, some person will tell you, I use the devices, it works for me. Yes, it works. That doesn't mean it's not going to work. However, if you have any issue, there won't be any support from Microsoft if you use a device that is not certified. So please can you give me a minute? I'm trying to.
Hi, Timmy. So if you go to the Teams Admin Center under Teams devices, there are actually devices there, so you can actually show it to us from the Teams Admin Center.
Okay. So devices. So we have under the we have different devices you can use. You can use a Windows device. You can use Android device, and we also have Microsoft Surface Hub. We have panels. We have phones like Dex phones. We have Dex phones that we can make use of, and we have displays also that we can make use of, and SIP devices. So these are devices that uses SIP technologies. Okay, so on this on this portal. So Microsoft actually, to make everything easy for everyone, they classify all these devices for easy management. So let's say you have Windows devices, all your Windows devices, you will have it here, listed here, and you can easily manage them from here, restart them, apply updates. You can manage them from here. For audio device, same thing with audio devices. You can easily manage the settings from here. You can add a configuration, from here. And also for Surface Hub, same thing with Surface Hub. For your panels, you can add them for devices. You can have them here. Okay, so these are the devices you have. We can read more about them. Okay, let me share the link. This is the document I was actually looking for. So I'm trying to get the documents that we can make use of. People can refer to. For for most of the for Teams Room device, the Teams Android device Surface Hub, and I think from Surface Hub, right? You need to, these are like you have your, it works based on like Windows, like normal Windows application and normal Android. So you get I'm very sure of the Windows. I've done the Windows rooms installation before. You need to get the installation file as if you want to install let's say you want to install an application on a device. So you are going to, there is an installation and configuration file that you need to load on your Windows device. Then after that, you can able to sign in. You'll be able to sign in, and the profile will appear on Office 365 Admin Center. Actually, this particular topic is sort of very, very not very, very hard to describe because there is no way for us to actually do the exact same thing. So you need to add that like installation profile. Then you are going to see them there. Something similar to Teams Room Android. So some that is also similar. You need to download the installation files and you upload. I think the only one that we can easily add from here using the remote is the panel. You can provision a device. So, sorry, the phone rather. If you are making use of Teams phone, you just come to phone, action, provision a device. Then what you need to do is if you have the MAC address of the device, you need to add the MAC address of the device and enter your location and you save. Then you can add a phone. Unlike the Surface Hubs, Android, and Windows, you need an installation file for them to work. Or maybe you sign it directly from your device, depending on how the device you are using. And another method instead of using the manual assignment is you can download. Maybe you have a list of phones you want to add. Maybe you have like 10 devices you want to add. You can upload them into a CSV file, the details of the MAC address and hardware ID. Then you can upload it to. Then you can upload it. Then the device will be ready for setup. So after adding it, you are going to have an option to set the device up. Same thing with SIP devices also. You can add using MAC address. You can add using MAC address and the display. You can also add that using the MAC address. But the Surface Hub and the Android, you need an installation configuration for that to be for you to be able to provision them. However, this is what okay. After adding the devices, you are going to get like it's going to generate a code. It's going to generate a code for you to add. Then that code you will input on your device also. It must be the same code. Then after that, the device will try to connect to Intune. Then you can sign in remotely. You can sign in remotely. But the function of this admin center you can easily manage your devices, assign a configuration policy. So let's say you can set up when you want the device to maybe update, maybe weekly, quarterly. You can, under your configuration profile, you can set it up. From here, you can push an update from here, from the admin center for all the devices. You can restart them. You can restart the device, set up a policy like device lock, your PIN to lock a device, the time zone, the settings. So however you want your device to work from the Teams device portal page here, you can set up your configuration profile for all your devices. You can set up how you want it to work. Yeah. I think that is that with the devices. So this is an example of setting up a device. So let's say you have some organization that they have thousands of devices. How do they manage their device? They cannot go from one device to manage them, to assign a policy to them. So at the point of creation, let's say you can set up a tag, create a tag for the devices, maybe using a particular criteria to set up a tag, assign it to devices. Using that tag, you can use the tag to assign a policy to, let's say, a device with these particular devices. You can use it use it to filter, then assign a policy, or you can use it to restart the device. You can use the tag to push an update for a device or to perform a box action on devices. So that is one of the things you can do on using on display. So we have the tag, we have the edit. You can easily edit a device from here. So, and I think finally we are going to talk about troubleshooting Teams room devices, right? So we have situation whereby I can user will be like, I cannot sign into my Teams room device. I cannot sign into my Teams phone device and the like. So what are the things we need to check out for? We need to check out if the first thing, check out if the device is up to date. If the device is outdated, maybe that is why users are not able to sign in. And also, you need to confirm the accounts that you're trying to sign into if there is correct licensing. So you need to confirm if the account has the correct licensing. And also, other things, video displays issue, ensure that maybe all the cables are properly connected, and also ensure that you have everything configured, maybe the policies, confirm if the policy you have, we have some, you can set up the device to maybe auto shut down. Then you need to confirm that all these things are properly set up. For Teams Room devices, so we have Microsoft Teams recovery tools. You can use it to troubleshoot the room devices, and also for the sign-in. If for sign-in issue for devices, you can for Teams Room devices, you can get a sign-in log from Azure. You can get a sign-in from Azure. From there, you can see the error message that is showing when the room device is trying to sign in. So from then, you can easily figure out why you can sign into the room. But in most cases, from my own experience, users, they are not able to sign into Teams room devices because they didn't join it to endpoint, that is Intune. It's not joined through to Intune. So that is why they cannot sign it. So you need to confirm you have the correct licensing, especially when it comes to Teams room devices. And also, you need to also consider your network. You need to ensure that you have a good and a strong network when you are connecting to Teams room devices, because most people, they tend to complain about poor video quality and the likes because of, but mostly don't, if you try to isolate troubleshoot getting the network log, you will see that maybe at the time of the meeting they have poor network connection. So that is why they have poor video quality. So whenever you are trying to use your joint Teams room or any Teams meeting, ensure you have good network connection. I think that should be all for this session. So I would like to know if there are questions, or if there's any questions, you can go on to ask.
Thank you so much, Timmy. Guys, if you have questions, feel free to raise up your hands. All right, in the absence of no question, so basically we'll continue from here next week. Check other aspects before we finally jump fully into Microsoft Teams Voice. Thank you everyone for joining the session. Really appreciate it. Oh, Rashida, do you have a
Okay,
question?
Rashida.
Please ask a question.
Question. So there are a lot of things to. Okay, Rashida question is, what if a user is able to sign in on Teams Room, but it keeps logging the user out every morning? Network is good. So basically, from what you said, your network is good. You consider, and okay, your network is good, and the room device is up to date. If I get you correctly, yes. So there are a lot of things you need to consider in this. One thing we also need to consider is the configuration profile. Was there in the configuration for the room, was it set to automatically was it set to sign to log out every day? Was it set to log out users profile every day? So we need to consider the organization profile, and also in some situations, right? And that is when it comes to call troubleshooting. You may have to get the device log and to see why the room is signing out. There are a lot of things that can come into play. And it's only when you go through the logs to be able to see exactly what happened, why the device is signing out. But most cases, from my own experience, the issue is mostly likely, but you said the networking is good. For sign-in issue, if the networking is good, then you consider the configuration or check the updates. Or maybe there is a firewall issue, which is actually a networking issue. And in a situation whereby an organization has a policy whereby users um, whereby user need to sign in every day. Let's say they have token expiration that whereby it is a must for them to sign in every day. Maybe they are signing they must do sign in every day. Maybe conditional access policy. Yeah, that is the exact word I'm actually trying to get. The conditional access policy, they have a conditional access policy that needs user to sign in every day, no matter what. The device, they need to exclude the user account from the policy. That is only when that is when the user will need to sign in every day. Does that answer your question?
Joseph, do you have question? Messi, do you have question before we call it a day today? All right. In the absence of no other questions, we'll be rounding up today's session here. So we'll pick it up from here next week again. Tim will also be available to take us through before we finally jump into the last part of Teams, which is Teams Voice. So I want to appreciate everyone. Thank you, Timmy, for an insightful session. I really learned a lot from this session. So thank you, everyone. Shout out to Messi. Shout out to Rashidat. Shout out to Joseph. Thank you for staying on the call. Thank you. So enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye for now.
Thank
Thank you so
you,
much,
thank
Ryan.
you,
Thank you.
thank you, Timmy. We appreciate. Yes, it was a nice